Okay, we are ready to go with the next sessions. And this year, for first time in the conference, we are introducing a new type of sessions with short lightning talks. And for today, we've gathered 5 amazing speakers that will present in 4 different sessions, such as Do You Need to Quit Your Job by Antonia Atanasova, The Impostor Syndrome as a Superpower by Victorova, Radoslav, Stefanov, and Pavel Genevski will talk about multispectral drone imaging for agriculture, and Iancho Dimitrov will talk about business. Tony, the stage is yours, and you're first.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Please raise a hand. Should I quit my company? Should I quit my job? Okay, it's a common question, yes. This question is very, very important because we know we are people, we are changing, our priorities are changing, and unfortunately, something that makes us happy today can make us sad tomorrow. So this question is important because we need to order our priorities and we need to be happy at work. And this question can have different forms depending on the work situation we are experiencing. For example, you can be thinking, I realize that my salary is not enough, but I love the team. Another situation might be, I know I do a lot of overtime, but I truly believe in the company values. Or, I am not happy here, but all the companies are like that. In the end, it's just a job. Very popular phrase in Bulgaria, it's just a job, you're not supposed to be happy. But I have good news because there is a solution and there is a framework for that. And yes, you don't need to compare the relationships you have within the team with your salary. Those are not comparable. I have very big list. It consists 17 items, and for sure you can do this exercise now for 5 minutes, but you need to do it if you're struggling with this question. Take your time, think about all the things carefully, write down some comments, and try to answer this question without comparing one thing with another, because it's much more than that. Let's take a look at the first items in the list. The first one is the industry or the domain that we are working on. We all know that the more interesting for us it is the industry, the better professionals we are going to be. Yes, and we need to be aware if we are satisfied with the industry that we are currently working in. The next thing is the technologies. We may have heard that some people are working with the sexiest cutting-edge technologies while other people are working with legacy, and they don't care about that. So, are you working with legacy? Are you working with cutting-edge? And are you, the most important, are you happy with that? The next thing is the workflow efficiency. Do you feel efficient during your work day? Do you feel that you are doing whatever company pays you for, or you find yourself being in boring meetings, having useless communication, and losing tons of time for things that you don't care about? And a lot more things, as I said, so as the task complexity. Do you feel that your tasks are challenging enough, that you are learning from them? Are you happy with your direct manager and with your team? Is it healthy relationship? Do you have the possibility to offer ideas and make suggestions? Does the company care about the education? Does it provide you courses, resources, and so on? Do you have clear vision about the professional growth and the career growth that you are having in this company? And are you happy with the quality of interaction with other teams? Do you feel that the work that you are doing is important and valuable? And do you feel independent? Are you happy with the salary and with the workplace equipment? And what about the social package quality and the company reputation and stability? All those things matters, and they matters differently for each of us because we are all different. So what is the exercise that you need to do? You need to order all of those 17 items from the most important to the least important. After that, you need to rate everything from 1 to 5, as 1 not satisfied and 5 fully satisfied. And of course, you're doing this exercise for you, so you can write down some comments and think about the topics carefully. How it should look in the end. Oh, sorry, my presentation is a bit broken. So how it should look in the end. For example, let's imagine that this is my list with my top 8 priorities in my current company. As you can see, the first one is the team. I love the team, it's a very healthy team, amazing relationship, so I'm putting 5 stars here. I'm also satisfied with the professional growth. The salary, I'm putting 4 stars because it's a decent salary, but we always can have more. And I'm putting 1 star for workflow efficiency and independence in work because I feel micromanaged and I feel that it feels that I work as a secretary, not as a developer. So pointing out the problems in this way can make us more aware of the big question, do I need to quit? And sometimes the answer is no, because those problems can be addressed and resolved. Thank you. If you want to hear more questions and the more important, more answers like this, feel free to find me on YouTube, Instagram, and of course, LinkedIn. Thank you.
Perfect. A few years ago, I was working at a deep tech startup. Every 6 months or so, there were these dreaded evaluations. I guess some of you know what I'm talking about. Going into each of those meetings, I felt and I had the full certainty and expectation that this is the time. This will be the time when I am going to be exposed as a fraud, I am going to be found out, made out, and fired. To my surprise, every time my boss started by telling me how happy they are with my work, how good of a job I'm doing, and yet, at this point, I was still expecting the huge but, the but to end it all. This but never came. Yet, of course, I didn't start feeling like I am great at my job. I started thinking that maybe my boss was just like me. He is afraid of confrontation, afraid of conflict, really dislikes giving negative feedback or even constructive criticism. So me, being the person that I just described, I also didn't provide any feedback. I didn't share legitimate complaints, I didn't give constructive criticism, and this is how those meetings went. Going out of each of those meetings, I didn't feel relief, however. I felt even more pressure, because I thought, okay, maybe somehow, for some reason, they are still fooled. They still haven't found me out, they still haven't figured that I don't know exactly what I'm doing, and that I'm not that great at my job. So I should quit while I'm ahead, while they still, for some reason, have some respect for me and my work. Later on, I found out that this model of thinking is called the imposter syndrome. Maybe some of it sounds familiar to you, because according to statistics, between 70 and 84% of us have it to some degree. It includes feeling like a fraud, feeling like you're not good enough, mainly in your job, also feeling like your achievements are due to luck or the lack of adequate competition. It is very severe in IT, sadly. So in case any of you are thinking that you're not good enough because your colleagues or managers don't know how much of Google, ChatGPT, and Stack Overflow you really are using, don't worry. I hope you found out from one of the previous lectures that using ChatGPT is a very normal thing and that people who are forward-thinking should use it. So you're fine. And yes, the imposter syndrome is a debilitating thing and it should be eradicated. But while we still have it, we should take advantage of it. Because I think that the imposter syndrome can be treated as a superpower. And I see it in two major directions. The first one I call super connection. Instead of running away from your imposter syndrome, just open up, share it with others. You'd be surprised at their reactions. I guarantee you, they will not mock you, they will not criticize you, and they will certainly not fire you. You will connect to them on a way deeper level. They will relate to you, they will open up in turn, and they will share with you things that you wouldn't expect. Also, those people will start seeing you as humble, as someone very down to earth, and whenever they have the chance and the option, they will choose to work with you and to communicate with you. The other way, this is a superpower, I call super improvement. Because as imposters, we always feel, as so-called imposters, we always feel like we lack skills, knowledge, qualifications, and so on. And we always try to make up for this. We search for more knowledge, for more trainings, courses, and whatnot. And we keep on improving ourselves. And if you ask someone around you, you'd be surprised at their answer. They will probably admire you for the rate at which you are improving yourself constantly. We tend to soak up content like crazy. So, ironically, the super improvement is also the way to eradicate the imposter syndrome in the long run. And one last thing. In case you truly are a fraud, in case you really are an imposter, you've been faking it all this time and now you're here. This is also super impressive. It's also an achievement. You should be proud of yourself. It's a superpower, so kudos to you. Thank you.
We are waiting for our slides. Bye.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Pavel Genevski. I'm a research expert at SAP Labs, Bulgaria. I have my colleague Radoslav Nikolov, Radoslav Stefanov with me today. And what connects us is that we both worked on a project related to intelligent agriculture with the use of a multispectral drone. A multispectral drone can be used in precision agriculture, but maybe you're wondering what is precision agriculture in the first place? Is it like we're shooting lasers to some pests? Or I don't know, precision bombing of the weeds, maybe? It's not like that. The short answer is that you use data to improve the operations of agriculture, and it can save a lot of money.
Thank you, Pavka, and welcome everyone. So, for the purposes of our project, we delved into the domain of remote sensing, and those are technologies using satellites, drones, and other smart devices in order to provide spectral data for the agricultural businesses. So, why multispectral in the first place? It turns out that there is a lot of knowledge hidden from our eyes, and we need special aperture in order to retrieve it. And on the sample here, we can see that an overlay derived from data in the IR band of the spectrum can showcase where we have vegetation. And based on that, we can say that the stadium is actually using artificial grass. So having that in mind, we needed to actually turn to some sort of technology to use it. And for the purposes of our project, we picked up a drone. There were mainly two reasons to do so. Firstly, the cost to enter in such technology is becoming more affordable for the general public. And secondly, the ease of use. As for the drone itself, the two major things that differentiate it from other drones is that it has a sun calibration sensor. It doesn't calibrate the sun, it actually monitors the sunlight intensity. And secondly, the camera has 6 sensors rather than the conventional one. So, armed with our new toy, we actually needed something to monitor. And for that, we had to go to a village near Varna, where we spent the entire summer serving a field with a sunflower culture in it. And essentially, we managed to track the entire life cycle of the crop from sowing to harvesting. And we have 41 completed surveys on top of that to showcase 4. And of course, we can't go over without providing you an aerial image of our office. So if somebody tells you you'll be working in an open space, make sure to check where you're going. And here we have provided you with a few samples from the data set, which have been already processed to showcase the value proposition to farmers and basically the takeaway from this talk. On the left-hand side, you can see an RGB composite image, and on the right-hand side, you have a false color map, which is representing data from the spectral part of the data set. And we have two more prompting features here. This little patch showcases that things that may be okay for our vision actually can be detrimental in terms of the health of the crop. And later, when we talk to farmers, it turns out that there was some minor weed infestation there, which suffocated the underlying crop. And secondly, we might see something that can alarm us, but essentially the health and the development of the crop is not affected by it. And this is actually the main value proposition here. By giving this information to farmers, we can improve their decision-making in their processes, reduce costs for things like fertilizer and pesticides, because this is a major spending point for them. And of course, you have an aerial view of the fields, something that the agronomists generally can't afford. And lastly, we're currently in the talks with a major cloud provider in order to publish the data set free of charge and for the wide public to use. The idea there is to use it for future researches both in academia and business applications. And we believe that this has value because it has been generated for serving things in a real environment, not some lab. And also we have sufficient farmer feedback for the land beneath it in order for it to be of value. Stay tuned with the official sub-channels for further notice because we are currently in talks for publishing. So thank you for joining our talk. And if you have any questions, feel free to find us on the conference floor.
Hello, everybody. My name is Iancho. Thanks for joining the session, the last one before lunch. There will be slides. I have a session in the afternoon, and it's like 40+ images. So for a balance, this one is only with text. So it's a session that's called Do You Speak Business? And the goal is to, its initial goal was to be a 40 to 50-minute session and to actually address the lack of understanding some technical guys like me in the past have about business terms, business concepts, etc. But as it needed to be just a 5-minute talk, first I thought that I will just have some fun with combining some terms like business people talk about IP, technical guys understand IP address, but actually it's intellectual property. Or they talk about SQL, and technical guys, of course, understand what SQL is. But the sales guys are thinking of sales qualified leads. So this was the initial idea, but I decided that actually the more important thing is to try to make you think about the thing that I care. And it's actually the gap between technical guys and business guys that very often it's a big gap and misunderstanding, miscommunication, etc. So let me start first with calling out the guys that consider themselves here in the audience as technical guys. Please raise your hand and keep it for a while. Okay, so if in the past 6 months you had a talk with a business guy, HR guy, marketing guy, whatever, and you felt like they're talking things that you don't really understand, please drop your arm. All right. I have the wrong audience, so you understand everything business. Good. Then maybe it's let's try the other half or the other part. So who are the non-technical guys in the audience? Maybe with you I will have more luck. So again, if in the past 6 months you were in a talk with an IT guy and they were talking stuff that you don't really understand, then close your eyes. Drop your arm. All right. So, as you see, only one person actually kept their arm, which means that these things happen. And maybe in the first question, I couldn't explain exactly my point, and this is why I get this result. But still, the fact is that the two type of people, technical and non-technical people, very often get into conversations where the communication gets lost because one part uses terms and concepts that the other part doesn't understand. So actually what the problem is, the usual situation, each side starts using their own specialized terms, and things turn especially bad when acronyms start to get in place. So business guys start talking about NDAs or POs or MOUs or this or that, and then the technical guys don't really understand, but in a bigger group, it doesn't feel good to really ask. The reason for that, most of the cases, the people, and this is vice versa also, so technical guys also use a lot of terms that actually the business people don't understand. And the reason for that is most of the time the people that is speaking doesn't really understand. So the person is not aware about the audience and doesn't understand that things that they naturally speak in their daily conversations with colleagues, actually this audience wouldn't understand, which is a good reason. I mean, it's something that is, how should I say, solvable. Another reason that this happens, the listeners don't speak up. So you hear something that you don't really understand, especially an acronym, but you don't speak up and ask the person actually, what do you mean with that? Because it feels like a little bit awkward to ask too many questions. Still, it's a good reason and it's something that you can solve. One thing that is a really bad thing is the third one, so ego or cover-ups. So people that actually feel like if they use many terms that the other side doesn't understand, it will feel like they really are specialists and they know their stuff, and they will feel like, okay, I'm lacking the English term. So this is a bad situation actually, and the worst situation is when somebody is ignorant in some area and tries to cover up their ignorance with using a lot of terms that he or she knows that the other side doesn't understand. And the last reason for that is that both sides don't put actually efforts to start to understand each other more. So both sides, technical guys don't get too much into understanding the business concepts and the business context, and the same goes for business guys that don't put efforts to know more about IT. Because if you don't get more and more knowledge, you actually can't be better in such situation next time. The good thing that there is common ground. So if things are all right, in any such discussion, there is a common goal: to understand each other, to come up with a joint solution or decision based on some information, which means that if it's how should I say, a normal situation, both technical guys and business guys have a common goal. So you should actually rely on that and try to solve the issue. So what can be done? First, if you're on the speaking side, no matter if you're a technical guy or business guy, when you're talking in a situation where you have people that are from other fields of the business that you're in, it's all about empathy. So the first thing, you should be thinking that you're not speaking like now, I'm not speaking just to speak, I'm speaking and I'm trying hard so that you understand me. So the same is for you and everybody that actually is speaking in the active position in this situation. So consider your audience, you should care about you being understood. So this is the first and most important thing. Many people just don't have this on their mind. So if you care about the other person, also this is in your interest that they understand you, you would consider the context. One more thing that I forgot, consider the least knowledgeable person in the audience and try to adapt the way you speak so that he or she understands you. And I can tell you very often, this is the most important person for you. For example, if you're a technical lead or a senior engineer or architect or something, and you are trying to explain to a CEO and your CEO and you are not working in an IT company, he's not IT, and you are trying to convince them to invest in some innovation or R&D or optimization that you want to do. So actually, the guy that least understands technology is the most important to you. So try to adapt and consider that you want to make sure that he or she understands you. Avoid using acronyms forever. If you are not into one and the same type of profile of people, company, just avoid acronyms. I'm trying hard to do two things, to avoid using acronyms and to avoid using English words when I speak. It's really hard to do it. The way that it works for me is whenever I do it, I immediately correct myself. So if I say an English word, I try to immediately say the Bulgarian one. So this teaches you, and step by step, you decrease the number of English words that you use. The same is for acronyms. So you use a lot of acronyms in your daily technical life. When you have business people or people that are not technical around you and you're talking, they would not understand many of the terms that you say, and they wouldn't have a clue, especially about the acronyms that you use. So this is something also that you can do. Another thing that you can do if you are talking about a specific complex topic, how should I say, concept or something that is really hard to explain in detail, use analogies. So if you feel that it's hard to explain this to a non-technical person, try to use a metaphor, try to use an analogy, and this would help you with passing the message to your counterpart. And the last thing that I would mention here is ask for feedback. When you have a diverse audience, you proactively consider that there might be people that don't understand you well and they would not speak up for whatever reason, be it for the imposter syndrome that one of the previous speakers was talking about, be it for another reason. So during the conversation, especially if those are people that you meet for the first time, on the 5th, on the 10th minute, just ask for feedback. Is there anything that I can clarify? So what about if you're on the listening side? What can you do to help this not happen that often? Ask for clarification. So whenever you don't understand something, be it you're a technical guy and a business guy is using terms, ask for clarification. Don't care about being looked as somebody that doesn't know. It's bad to ask 2 or 3 times for one and the same thing. So if on the next meeting you ask again about this thing, it's bad. But if you are genuinely interested and you care, ask. What do you mean by this? Or did I understand you right, that by this you mean that? Ask again. So you ask once, you ask twice. Don't worry to ask during a meeting a lot. It helps also the person that is talking, using a lot of things that the others are not understanding, to understand that they need to adapt. This is one thing. And second thing, it also helps with a person that is using it on purpose, that this cannot go like this. As I said, egos or cover-ups or something like this. So don't be afraid to ask. And I need to finish. You will feel the imposter syndrome, but it's not you. It's the other person that is talking, not adapted to your level or to your knowledge. So don't worry about the imposter syndrome. Take notes, be diligent. So take notes, at least 3 things, if it's a meeting where you heard so many things that you don't understand. Note at least 3 things that you want to understand, check them up, have a glossary, and actually have a focused effort to start understand the other sides, the business side, the marketing side, whatever. Provide one-on-one feedback. If there is a person that has been talking with a lot of things that you don't understand, after the meeting, go to them and tell them, just for your information, I didn't understand a lot of things. Most probably, the most important person for you who is with my profile also didn't understand you, so that you know. He or she will appreciate this. And as I said, spend some time, some effort to regularly acquire knowledge in non-IT areas if you're from the context of the IT world. And last thing that you can do, just get a mentor. Like in the technical world, we all get mentors for development or for quality assurance, etc. But you can also get a business mentor. So get somebody from marketing or HR or something to be a mentor of yours, to just start learning things from their world bit by bit. And also you can go shadow them for some of the meetings and actually start hearing those terms and understand like the context and the big picture of their world much better through practice. Thank you very much for your attention. Enjoy lunch.
Okay, so it's almost 12 p.m., so it's time for a lunch. It will be waiting for you downstairs, but before that, I just wanted to again remind you that we have a special cause this year. It's Teach for Bulgaria, our partners. Their booth is on the right side. So if you have the time in this 1 hour when we have lunch, you can visit their booth. They have very nice things that you can buy and donate for them. Socks, cups, books, and things like that. So don't miss the opportunity to go there. And our partners from Green Delhi have our lunch at the moment for us, so it's downstairs once again. We will be waiting for you at 1 p.m. for our next keynote speaker, Donna. So enjoy the lunchtime. Thank you.